Many congratulations, Professor Ruth on winning the Social Policy Association's Lifetime Achievement Award 2010. Very well done.
Thank you.
What would you identify as the highlights of your career?
Well, as I said when receiving the award, which I'm really, really proud to have received and really honoured, my career has been in two halves, and I suppose I was incredibly lucky and privileged to work for the Child Poverty Action Group for the first half of my career, and I think probably the highlight then was being part of protecting child benefit and ensuring that family credit was paid to the mother, not through the wage packet. So it was kind of defensive achievements. And as an academic, I think probably my two books, Citizenship, Feminist Perspectives and Poverty, the first one because, to be honest, I didn't believe I could do it, and then I found I could, and the feedback I've had on it, not just from academics, and the Poverty book, because I think it's been valuable not just for academics but for people in the field. And some of the most rewarding feedback is when activists say how they've used it and found it helpful. And related to that, with my membership of the Commission on Poverty, Participation and Power, which was an incredibly rewarding and challenging experience, and then that fed into the book. So in a sense, I like to think that my theory informs practice, but my theory is also informed by practice.
Thank you. This conference has the theme of social policy in times of change. What are your reflections on the changes that we're likely to see in this period?
I feel, I have to say, I look forward with foreboding. Although this is not a factory government, it's not like the 1980s in that sense, it does feel quite like, I remember the 1980 budget and social security legislation, and it was quite, it was a turning point really, and I feel like we're at another one, and the public expenditure cuts that are being proposed are simply huge, and what's happening is it's very clear that benefit cuts are being social security claimants and benefits are being sort of held up against services, and the Chancellor is saying, okay, we can reduce the cuts on your services, provided you're willing, but we need to cut benefits more. So they're being played off against each other, and I fear that for all, I think a legitimate concern about poverty and inequality in the coalition government, my fear is that we will see poverty and inequality increase as a result of the cuts overlaying, labour market changes and so forth.
What would you see the key role of social policy academics to be then in this period?
I think it's a really important role, and I think it's been a recurrent theme during the course of this conference, that we have a responsibility. We have the tools, we have a lot of knowledge, we have skills, we have evidence, and we've got to try and get it into the public domain. Peter Dreyer on Monday talked about the framing wars, and it's quite clear that at present the government has won the framing war in that the problem is public expenditure. We can't, we're only sort of foot soldiers in those wars, but I think we can help provide evidence to counter that framing and to show what the impact of framing the problem in that way and their solutions to it will have on marginalised and disadvantaged groups.
What advice would you give to someone starting their career as a social policy academic?
It's difficult because in a sense I came in at a very different level, so I haven't been in that position myself. I think it's really important to try and get a good mentor, someone who, hopefully in your own institution, but not necessarily so. Perhaps particularly if you're someone who, and I hope new people starting social policy academic careers do see it as part of their role as this wider engaging with social policy out there. So perhaps someone who has experience of that, but also using the SPA as a resource. And I was really pleased to see in the latest Policy World that some early career researchers writing their sort of letters to David Cameron and that kind of thing. And I think now there are a lot of with blogging and so forth, there are a lot of outlets for early career researchers to write very short pieces without taking too far away from, getting their publications for the REF and so forth. So I think really thinking how they're going to balance those different sides of their work, because it is going to be a difficult time, I think, for early career academics.
And finally, what are you going to do when you retire? Did you retire?
Well, partly just what I've always done, I think. I will carry on doing a bit of teaching at Loughborough. I want to carry on writing, but writing what I want to write rather than what's necessarily the best thing for the REF. Being able to engage more in politics and policy. So partly perhaps going back a bit to my earlier roots. But also I do, and I'm going to be travelling a bit to begin with. I've got some invitations to go and give papers and things, which is very nice. But I do actually want to, the real reason for retiring is that I do believe in trying to lead a more balanced life, and I've realised that I tried reducing my hours and it helped, but actually if I'm going to do it, ultimately I think I need to retire and try and live the more balanced life that I write about.
Well, very good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.